Hey everyone, my name is Kaby, and today I am gonna show you the game I played earlier today in the New Balance. We released the New Balance patch yesterday, so I was interested to play and was wondering how the old strategies would be working in New Balance and also how the new strengthened units would perform. So I took my phone and queued into the game, and I'm showing you the best one I played so far. I am playing the dark against the light, and my opponent is Assiriy, the guy who I briefly knew before because we were hanging around on the same Discord server, the official server we have for the game. By the way, you might join as well if you like. And even though I know him not really in person, but up to some point we can say in person, I don't really know how does he play. I can't remember any games for us to play against each other. So I'm clearly doing the standard thing. I'm gonna scout and see what I might be come up with. So I'm waiting for my first goon. My build order is a little bit hacked up because when I started recording this video I was reconnected to the match for some reason, so I lost a couple of seconds, but that's not really important on this level of play. So I might be just lagging like 5 seconds behind, but on the big map like this it is not too crucial. And I had a very special idea of playing this match, and you can see that I'm ordering my tier 3 and then cancelling it and immediately using the lumber scroll. And the reason for me to do that is because I wanted to play mass heroes in this game, so I wanted to rush my alchemist along with the orc chief, but then I thought that probably I would not get enough wood, and also I forgot to place the altar of heroes at the correct timing, so actually I didn't get the good build order after all. And this is often happens when you try to do something creative but you didn't do this before, so a little mistake occur. But we are playing this game for fun, right? Especially here on the testing phase. We don't really have anything to lose, so we're just playing what we feel to play. And anyways, in the end I eventually reordered my tier 3, but then I still add alchemist, and only then I'll be adding the totem of orcs. So I'm about to play a slightly weird thing. The idea here is I wanna only play with one barracks, no other production, and take up to the 2 different heroes and really get maximum outcome from making the heroes. So we are gonna see if this can work. Previously, during the testing stage, many players on the contrary tried to play without heroes at all, and here is a completely different approach. Since I did a lot of stupid things, such as forgetting altar, I am hugely behind the schedule, so it is already 5th minute mark and I am clearly not about to get any chest, it seems, because my enemy advanced on the top one, and probably he already has something on the bottom one, because I am late for almost 30 seconds to there, and it would be a big mistake out of him to miss this one, and we see that he didn't make the mistake, so he obtained the bottom chest, and that means that he has 800 advantage in resources. Anyways, I decided that I would try to attack and see what I can make with it. I have quite a bit of goons as well as my alchemist, which is still a very strong hero, and we also fixed the alchemist in the last client update, so now his passive ability works for himself, and that means that he gets 25% less damage from the ranged attacks. And here everything my opponent has apart from one swordsman are the ranged attacks, so that's quite a lot, but we see that alchemist is going down rather quick, as well as my other stuff. Many units of my opponent are low, so I'm trying to finish them off, and I'm killing a couple, but that didn't really worth it, I think. So I completely fucked up the beginning. Let's just call the things what they are. But anyways, the map is very big and my units still buy time for me, and you can see that in the meantime I already got my barracks tier 2, and the additional narrative behind this game is that I already made all my daily errands, and except for one I had to build 6 AX masters. So this stuff with the 2 heroes was built up with me getting 2 fast heroes and then taken up to the AX masters. So I thought that probably with the 2 heroes I can be safe enough to go the fast AX masters. So that is some kind of a weird concept that didn't really work. And it led me to the fact that I'm also about to lose the big chest in the middle, because I clearly can't make it. Enemy actually already got it. So currently I'm 1.5k behind in resources, and that if we count out all the units I lost as well as the alchemist. So I'm losing a lot. But we can try to do what we can, and in this particular case what I'm gonna do is to get the mana well with the 2 heroes, and at the same time to attack my opponent from the side with just the 2 small bombers. The bombers were buffed, they received a significant buff in the range they deal their impact in, so they can take down more. And here they come to the edge, the right edge of the map, and I'm gonna try to take down the elven tree. The elven tree costs a lot and it takes a lot of time to build it, so it can be a worth a target. So we are gonna see if I can make it, and at the same time I obtained the mana well. I decided to take the mana tower in the end, but anyways, Assiriy was quick enough and good enough to apply a fortification, so it didn't work at all, and I just lost more resources for pretty much nothing. But my heroes are fine, but the bad thing is that I don't really have a lot of battle limit, a lot of food in my army, and it is almost 10th minute mark, so I am probably about to lose even more chests in this game. But the trick is, even though you are probably about to lose a chest sometimes, it doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice all your army for that, because even one hero is more expensive than one chest, and usually it's not about you just losing one hero. Only the princess probably may be that only hero that you can solo lose, but in the most cases you would lose all the stuff. And yet again Assiriy got my chest, and I see him moving to the middle part. I at first was going to attack him, but then I changed my plans and thought that probably I don't have to rush too much. I'm also adding the workshop, and my idea was to add the drills, because the opponent clearly has a lot of archers, and the drills is somewhat can counter the archers. And I also add in the main building tier 4. Even though I don't get the chests, I still don't spend a lot, don't spend too much, and more importantly, I'm almost supply blocked, so I have to think in advance, at least for a little bit. And now luck turns its face to me, at least, because my opponent wasn't too accurate with moving his army. His paladin lagging behind, and his army is coming from the two different sides, and this turns to be quite a good engagement for me. But in fact I didn't lose my alchemist ability all too well, but he also uses his defense scroll the stupid way, not getting it for the paladin, and now my heroes are still fine while paladin went down and the archers went down, and in the end this engagement went very good for me, for that very reason that my opponent completely lost the grip while his army was shifting and rotating to this position, which is quite stupid because this control tower was under his control initially, so he should have known that I was holding this position, but probably he thought that I pulled back. Anyways, I had still those two heroes left, so my strategy of playing from the two heroes is working currently. I lost Alchemist in the beginning, but once I got both, I am fine with controlling them. So I wanna advance on the second observation tower to get even more advantage on the map, and then I'll be heading to the second mana well to the bottom part of the map. Here we see some healer walking around. Probably it was just the wrong rally point, not sure. And the two of my heroes are going down straight. And also we can see on the minimap that some other army is heading there too, because I just casually use the select all army button to make sure that all the stuff going together. I'm gonna add one more mana tower and decided to place it right in front of my goblin tower. And here comes the light army, and we see that Assiriy didn't spend his time for nothing, and rather than that he added the wind mages. I didn't have enough mana to use any scroll apart from the magic blast, but it's too weak to damage the air, so I just damaged what I could on the ground. And my X-Masters accidentally come from behind, and that means that I can probably take down this wind mage. The wind mage is very expensive, especially in gold, so that is already a good trade. All of the wind mages go down, and now I'm about to lose the second hero as well, and the paladin is still alive, but I also took my rider. You could have noticed that I didn't leave it in the engagement because he couldn't really do much, so instead of that I forced him in here to use the meteor. I controlled two mana wells right now, so I have a lot of mana income, and this is the reason why why I could use 2 meteors that fast. And it is already almost 50 again. And here is the 15th minute, 15-minute mark. That means that the 3 chests pop up on the map at the same time, and honestly, I entirely missed this thing. And if I remember correctly, I would not be getting the bottom one all too quick. But my opponent clearly thinks that I already got the chest, because that just makes sense. I should have done that, but I played bad, so it is still not under my control. And now I'm adding more bombers, because my idea was that probably I can do more damage to the knights, because knights are not great but not bad against the X-Masters, so probably I can use some bombers. And also I was wondering how good would they perform. This is the part of my job, to test the things as the game developer. Of course, as the casual player, I just wanna win. As the content creator, I wanna play something fancy. And as the game developer, I wanna test the new stuff we add or change. So I'm trying to do the most of those 3 at once. So let's see if it will work. Also, I am adding more aeronauts, and the reason for that is clearly that my opponent's getting wind mages. So, of course, I need some counter unit for that, and wind mages don't really... Okay, Assiriy took the chest. They don't really do great against aeronauts. The only case when they would perform great is if aeronauts would all stick together, because wind mages still do splash damage. But in the normal case, since the aeronaut is mech and it has the high magic damage resistance, it is doing fine against wind mages. So the idea of my army composition is that I don't do many X-Masters now. I am adding bombers against the ground, and I am adding aeronauts against the air. And with all that, I just have the 2 heroes for sustain. So we'll see if it will work or not. And my opponent is doing the army composition that I also used to try back in the days. It is the wind mages along with the chivalry. And that is the interesting composition, because the idea behind that is that the wind mages apply slowing, they slow down the targets, and the knights dealing the damage. It is an interesting concept. I can't say that it always works, because it struggles sometimes, for instance, against bikers, because wind mages still lack damage. Dealing magic, they lack damage against any mech, but sometimes it combat does fine. And since my enemy showcased his army all too far from here, on the bottom chest, I thought that I can probably do something fancy down here, attacking his army from the side, and I can quickly withdraw and pull back if I need to. Interesting part is that I can take the 2 mana wells really quickly, so he can't use an attacking scroll anymore, he can't apply like the rockfall on me, and we see that he still doesn't come on this position, and that pretty much means that his army is going into my place right here. So every time you don't see your enemy army, that means that it is about to attack your base any seconds. That is just the basic stuff in any RTS, War Legends included, and what you have to do if you are forced to the base trade scenario is you have to immediately take your workers off there, because if it comes down to the base trade, the one who has the workers wins. Especially if he also has resources, as I do, because we both are maxed out for quite a while now. My army lagged for a little bit, but we already destroyed all the crucial buildings. And the interesting part here is that my enemy has again the wind mages, and they don't do great against the buildings. So suddenly my base is still relatively fine. We see that something happening there, and I thought that I'd be just taking down his farms. My towers still dealing damage to Paladin, not a lot though. I applied the magic blast just because I can. I also thought that probably he would be destroying my mana towers as well, but he tries to take down my racks as quickly as he can instead. I'm not sure if it was a good idea, by the way. But anyways, I'm trying to get back the second mana well, because scrolls is the only thing we can replenish right now, because we don't have production buildings anymore. Actually, I still have one, and I totally forgot about it, but I do have one. That is a workshop on the, this exactly thing. So I use the rally point to the right edge of the screen, and probably my drill will be able to come out. And I rebuilt my citadel at the enemy's base. I checked that he still have enough gold, so it's worth it. And then I'm obtaining the bottom chest, and it is clearly that he missed the workers on the main base, so he probably does the same thing as me and save the workers. And we see that he also has quite a bit of snipers, which might be a tricky thing to deal with, because he can take down either aeronauts or at least one of the heroes really quickly. And now we see that he has a lot of towers, and probably his idea, the idea behind his play, is that he can stabilize the situation with those towers. So I'm starting to attack it, and his army coming over me, and we see that he didn't control it really cautiously, so that means that his units come one after one. Currently I'm pulling back a little bit to drag his units even further, and now I turn around. His towers also don't attack me anymore. I'm trying to take down wind mages quickly, because they deal a lot. And then I also use the big scroll, because I have enough mana. It is the Ring of Fire. Snipers received a lot of damage. Many players don't like the Ring of Fire anymore, because it doesn't exactly kill the targets, but see how 4 of his snipers at the same time, even though being split really widely, went down to like 400 HP. I really think it's worth it. It is just not the scroll for any situation anymore, but it is still quite good. And now I just finish off his army, and Assiriy doesn't have any more options than to confirm his defeat. And this is the victory, such a best trade, with the weird idea of the game of stabilizing on the 2 heroes. Actually, it might still have a shot if you do this properly, not like I did, losing the first hero and losing all the chests for nothing. But if we polish this one, probably it can be a strategy. Maybe we'll see it in the future videos, so make sure to sub if you wanna see more. And that's it for me for today. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.